kind that could save you money. Workers' comp is probably one of the biggest costs you face. But did you know that insurance providers have flexibility in setting their prices? That's right. But many don't bother giving small businesses the savings you deserve. Instead, you can get lumped in with other businesses and overcharged. Pi Insurance was created to change that. With Pi, you get a quote tailored specifically to your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle and no hidden fees. And with helpful representatives just a call away, it's easy to understand why Pi is rated excellent by customers on Trustpilot. Take 3 minutes to see how much you could save.
All right, here we go.
Ask your agent for Pi or go to trypi.com. That's trypie.com.
Welcome back to WTMJ 2022, presented by Annex Wealth Management and sponsored by the Bartolotta Restaurants.
And I'm Steve Scaffidi. I am the host of the 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock hours here on WTMJ 2022. We're going to flip to the other side of the political aisle, and we're talking about the governor's race in Wisconsin. Joining us, former Lieutenant Governor Rebecca Kleefisch. Good morning.
Good morning. That's some nice orchestral bumper music you got there.
It does sound good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Great to see you. I haven't seen you in a while, so that's always a nice way to kind of refresh the conversation. Let's start with a big endorsement this morning. Governor Scott Walker, he endorsed you for governor. That's a big deal.
I think so, because I think it speaks to our friendship and our relationship working together for years of great, proven, effective conservative reforms led out of the state of Wisconsin. Everything from prevailing wage to becoming a right to work state, concealed carry state. We now use photo IDs to protect our vote. That was under our administration, saving $13 billion in taxes. And of course, the granddaddy of them all, Act 10.
Yes, we'll get to that. He used the term real conservative, and you and I both know that that's been tossed around, that term, a lot lately. So in your mind, what is a real conservative in Wisconsin?
Someone who fights for conservatism and values and has been in the trenches for years, because the only way you prove you're a real conservative is how long you've been fighting and what you're willing to do in that fight. It was funny. I was walking into this building and I was remembering the days when I used to go on the Sunday morning WTMJ talk show and talk about conservatism when I was just a Tea Party mom. My kids were little teeny, and I was out speaking at tea parties across the state back in 2009. And I've been fighting for conservative values my entire adult life. I came out very publicly after my stint on television news and after I was at home with my kids and had a small business for the Tea Party movement. And born out of that movement was my candidacy for lieutenant governor when I clearly was not exactly the favorite of the Republican Party of Wisconsin. They had their establishment pick. But you know what, Steve? I'm a fighter. And I won that race against those 5 men by 21 points, not because I was the favorite of the party, but because I worked my tail off and I believed in conservative values. And I think today my record speaks for itself. I'm a proven reformer. And if that's what you want in the governor's office, then I'm here for you.
In your mind, what is the biggest issue facing Wisconsin voters?
I think it's tough to choose between a top 3 issues. It was funny listening to Governor Tony Evers' interview right before mine. He talked about the environment as a top priority, and violent crime has risen year over year, 9% in Wisconsin. We have more carjackings in Milwaukee than in Chicago. If you're a child in Wisconsin, you're likelier to die a homicide victim than of COVID-19. We have got to crack down on violent crime. We also have to address our failing schools. We need dollars to follow a child's education and not buildings and bureaucrats. And we need real universal school choice, and parents need transparency. We need to know what's actually going on in kids' classrooms. Tony Evers vetoed that bill. But we also have to address election integrity. And you've heard a lot of talk about that over the last number of months, but it's because of stuff like what happened just days ago in Green Bay when they told voters, okay, we're going to start counting these absentee ballots in a light of day at 4 p.m. And they started at 8:30 in the morning. If we are led to question what is going on in our elections, how can we possibly consider them fair and free?
Do you think that the Department of Justice, I actually know the answer to this question, you think the Department of Justice should take over the review of elections? Why do you think that? And how does that work exactly?
Well, under my administration, the WEC, the Wisconsin Elections Commission, is going to be gone. I've said I'm going to abolish.
To be fair, created by Republicans.
Absolutely. But so was the GAB. And years ago, we had the Secretary of State's office administering elections. We need more accountability. And unfortunately, we're just not getting it with the WEC. And so I would change those duties to a more accountable office. Secretary of State's office has every 4 years accountability directly to voters. But who then is the check on the Secretary of State in the meantime? Well, that's going to be the Department of Justice. Under the Attorney General, we will create the Office of Election Integrity, and we are going to make sure that they are having auditing powers both before and after. They will purge the voter rolls of voters who are not actually voting and these dead voters, and we'll make sure that they have prosecutorial powers as well, because there are today, Steve, cases of voter fraud that are being referred to local district attorneys and they're refusing to prosecute. We also know that voters are seeing things in real time and they feel like they have no place to go. They're going to have a hotline at DOJ, and we're going to stop chasing our tail on voter fraud, and we're going to actually beat fraud out before it actually happens.
I know you travel around the state a lot, and I've heard from these folks around the state that they are concerned about elections. But I want to baseline this, and I want to ask this question. I'll ask it of Kevin Nicholson when he follows up after you. Did Donald Trump win this state in 2020, do you think?
I think right now we have 2 ongoing investigations to make that determination. One under Michael Gableman, one under Janelle Brandtjen. I am watching in real time, live with you, what those audits are yielding.
That review by Michael Gableman has been charged with sloppiness. There's been now a pullback of some of the subpoenas that he's issued. Do you trust that process? Do you trust Michael Gableman and his team?
I don't trust what happened on 2020 because take a look. The WEC, completely unaccountable, invented stuff, pushed it out to clerks, blamed COVID, and that's how we conducted our elections. The Green Party candidate got booted off the presidential election ballot. Tell me the last time in your political lifetime you ever saw that happen. These Zuckerbucks flowed in to these particularly Democrat cities in order to get out the vote things out of government offices. We had these drop boxes unattended left all over the state of Wisconsin. And we know that these are things that encouraged one political party to get out their vote. And I question whether those practices are something that even Democrats could honestly stand up for. That's why I'm saying that I'm going to sign a ban on ballot harvesting. I'm going to ban these unaccountable ballot drop boxes. We're going to switch the WEC's duties to the Secretary of State, and we're going to have a check on the Secretary of State in the Department of Justice. You can't be held too accountable when it comes to our elections.
Any concerns that the process becomes even more biased with the changes you're talking about?
I have absolutely no concerns with a process being more biased by having more sunlight on it. That is what I am saying we need to do. We need the light of day, the sunshine to come into this process, nothing behind closed doors. And that's why people are so deeply concerned about what happened just 2 days ago in Green Bay when they lied about when they were going to count those absentee ballots, and they instead started counting them hours before anyone could even get there.
Rebecca Kleefisch, my guest on WTMJ 2022. All right, so you are going to be all over the state in the year ahead. What is your message to Wisconsin voters? Give me the campaign speech. Give me the hot minute that says, I need to be the next governor.
Well, we need to take back control, Steve. We've had 3 years of government taking so much from all of us, and it's time for us to get back to work and back to school, back the badge, and give government back to the people. So none of this garbage with unconstitutional vaccine mandates, and we must demand election integrity, and we must have it now.
Talking about the pandemic, much has been made about the lockdowns, the enforcement of this vaccine mandate, and all the things related to healthcare and this virus. If you would have been governor versus Tony Evers, how would you have handled it differently? I only got about a minute and a half.
I would have openly acknowledged that a virus does not listen to politicians, and you cannot executive order or legislate a virus out of existence. It was naive for Tony Evers to have shut down the entire economy, pitted worker against worker, making the WEDC judge whether people were essential or not, and then abandon them when they called the Department of Workforce Development for unemployment insurance, and then sit there and do nothing when people were told that they were going to lose their jobs if they were forced or chose not to take this vaccine, something they believed was wrong for them, and then sitting idly by while children are masked in this patchwork across the state. I feel like the lucky mom, Steve, that my kid gets to go to school every day unmasked. This is wrong. What people are doing, fanning the flames of fear in the state of Wisconsin. Tony Evers is at the helm. He should walk away in disgrace. Time for him to retire.
Rebecca Kleefisch, a pleasure to talk to you. I hope this is the first of many conversations throughout this year.
Let's go. Please join us at RebeccaForGovernor.com.
You're listening to WTMJ 2022. After the break, we'll be joined by Kevin Nicholson, another candidate for the position of governor on the Republican side in Wisconsin.
Your Brew City Bucks are cruising into the All-Star break with style.
Giannis picks up the
I
ball
can't
in midcourt.
jump around. Thank you, guys. Good luck.
Giannis dribbles between his legs, pulls the trigger, and he knocks it down.
All right, I'm facing this way now, right?
Don't miss a marquee matchup tonight as the Bucks battle the 76ers. Dave Kane leads us up to tip-off tonight at 5:30, beginning at 7. We're the home for Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks. WTMJ.
Sounded good?
This week on WTMJ.
TMJ4's Charles Benson. The biggest surprise for me was how many people did not vote in the city of Milwaukee.
The big names.
Dr. John Raymond.
Real quick, because we don't have a ton of time. How are you?
Very, very significantly.
The stories you're talking about.
The perception that Milwaukee is not safe is hindering this city's
Hey, how are you?
Everything is a
I think we met before, right?
Davis. Seeing the halftime show, it was